Imagine this. You're driving through the endless plains of Kazakhstan. The wind is howling. The horizon is nothing but empty fields, scattered trees, and the skeletons of old Soviet houses. As the sun dips, a faint, chilling fog rolls over the cracked roads. You stop at a village sign that reads, Kalachi. The air feels heavy, silent, and within minutes, you realize something's wrong. Every house is dark. The streets empty. There are no children playing, no dogs barking, no voices echoing. It feels like a ghost town, except it isn't abandoned. The villagers are here. They're just asleep. And not just for the night. For years, the people of Kalachi have been struck by an unexplainable phenomenon. Entire families, sometimes whole blocks, suddenly collapsing into deep, unnatural sleep. Some stay unconscious for hours, others for days. When they wake, they're confused, weak, and haunted by terrifying hallucinations. Doctors couldn't find a virus. Scientists ruled out mass hysteria. Theories ranged from radiation seeping from nearby abandoned uranium mines to secret government experiments, to something even stranger, a natural gas leaking beneath the soil, affecting only those who breathe it long enough. But here's the thing. Every time experts think they've solved it, the symptoms return, entirely unpredictable. Like the village itself refuses to wake up. Why is this place, now known as Sleepy Hollow, one of the world's most unsettling mysteries? And is it a warning of something far bigger than a single village? Stay with us as we journey into Kalachi, uncover the chilling first-hand stories of those who lived through this nightmare, and follow the trail of scientists, journalists, and shadowy government agents who all tried and failed to explain the unexplainable. Because what's happening here could happen anywhere. The first reports came quietly, almost ignored by the outside world. It was late 2013 when a farmer named Yuri Petrov collapsed while feeding his cattle. His wife thought he had fainted, but when she couldn't wake him, she panicked. Hours later, paramedics arrived, only to find two more of her neighbors also unconscious, lying in their yards as if the earth itself had pulled them into slumber. By the next morning, 20 people were asleep. No one could explain it. They weren't sick. Their vitals were normal. But no matter how hard doctors tried, they would not wake. Until, without warning, they did. Confused, weak. Some reported terrifying visions, black tunnels, voices whispering in unknown languages, flashes of blinding light. News spread quickly. Journalists dubbed it the sleep epidemic. Scientists arrived, hauling radiation meters, gas detectors, and even soil testing kits. Their prime suspect? The abandoned uranium mines less than 2 miles away, relics from the Soviet era. Radiation levels were elevated, but not high enough to cause mass unconsciousness. And then, the strangest discovery. Not everyone in Kalachi was affected. Entire families slept, while their neighbors remained untouched, watching in horror as those around them fell into unnatural dreams. Some villagers began to believe they were cursed. Others whispered of experiments that the government, eager to study human limits, was using the old mines for something far more sinister than uranium. Satellite images showed restricted zones nearby, fueling rumors of secret labs buried beneath the steppe. But perhaps the most unsettling part? The phenomenon didn't just strike once. It came back, again and again. Weeks of silence. Then suddenly, a wave of sleep would wash over Kalachi, dropping dozens at a time. Each time, researchers returned. Each time, they left with no answers. And then, the disappearances began. By 2015, some families abandoned their homes, leaving behind furniture, clothes, even pets. Entire streets became deserted. Those who remained lived in constant fear, never knowing if or when they'd be next to fall. What was happening beneath this village? And why, despite years of study, did no one, not even the government, reveal the truth? By the winter of 2015, Kalachi was no longer just a mystery. It had become a ghost of itself. Entire rows of houses sat frozen in time, curtains drawn, children's toys abandoned in yards, as if the families had simply vanished. Only a few hundred villagers remained, living in constant dread. They carried bottled oxygen, believing the air itself was cursed. Some even slept in shifts, afraid they might never wake if they closed their eyes. Stranger still, the phenomenon seemed intelligent. In December, a school teacher named Alina fell asleep mid-lesson, collapsing at her desk. 3 students slumped over minutes later. Yet, in the same building, others stayed completely awake, watching in shock as their friends drifted into a deep, unshakable slumber. No gas leaks were detected. No toxins were found in their blood. Then, a new twist emerged. Those who slept began reporting the same dream. They described walking through endless underground tunnels, lit by a faint, flickering glow. Some heard voices, deep, mechanical, speaking in languages no one could recognize. A few claimed they saw shadowy figures watching them from the darkness. Russian scientists investigating the phenomenon quietly released the theory: traces of toxic carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons from the uranium. Mines could be pooling in low areas, causing hypoxia, a lack of oxygen to the brain. But this didn't explain the shared hallucinations, nor why it only struck Kalachi and not nearby villages built on the same land. Some researchers believe the village itself was sitting on a hidden geological anomaly, a natural gas pocket or magnetic disturbance, capable of triggering both the sleep episodes and the bizarre dreams. Others weren't convinced. They whispered of experiments, cover-ups, and even a secret evacuation plan if the anomaly spread. Today, Kalachi is almost empty. The few who remain still report sudden sleep episodes, though far fewer than before. Most refuse to talk to outsiders, fearful of who might be listening. Officially, the mystery is solved. Unofficially, no one truly knows what haunted Kalachi, or if it's gone for good. Because if it wasn't just gas, or radiation, or some natural quirk of the earth, then something else may still be lurking beneath the ground, waiting. In 2017, a group of independent journalists ventured into Kalachi to document what was left. They found a village that felt frozen in a permanent twilight. Rusted bicycles leaned against fences. Wind creaked through the broken windows of abandoned homes. A single shop, lit by a weak yellow bulb, served the few who stayed. Villagers with hollow eyes and voices lowered to whispers. Locals told the crew that the sleeping sickness had slowed, but never stopped. Every few months, someone new would collapse without warning. One man described waking up 3 days later, feeling as though he had been buried alive. Another swore he saw shapes standing at the edge of his bed while he was trapped in sleep, unable to move. Then came the chilling discovery. The team uncovered documents, old Soviet maps, and restricted reports hidden in the attic of a government building on the village's edge. The papers detailed not just the uranium mines, but an entire network of underground tunnels and sealed chambers, far deeper than anyone knew. Some were marked with symbols the journalists didn't recognize, military codes perhaps. Others were simply labeled, "Do not enter." When they tried to investigate these tunnels, they were stopped by armed guards, claiming the area was unstable and dangerous. But as one journalist recalled, the guards were not wearing any protective equipment, as if the danger wasn't physical at all. Whispers spread that the real cause of the Kalachi phenomenon wasn't the mine or the gas, but something that had been buried or built beneath the steppe decades ago and never meant to be found. By 2020, nearly all residents had left. The government fenced off much of the village, citing safety concerns. The world moved on, yet strange reports continued. Travelers on the nearby highway claimed to see lights flickering below the ground at night, like a faint glow rising from beneath the soil. Some swear they heard a low hum, mechanical and rhythmic, vibrating through the earth when the wind died. Kalachi may be nearly forgotten, but the mystery beneath it is far from over. In the years that followed, Kalachi became more than a ghost village. It became a magnet for the curious and the reckless. Urban explorers, conspiracy hunters, and amateur scientists began sneaking past the fences at night, hoping to uncover proof of what really lurked below. Most found nothing more than collapsing homes and the cold howl of the steppe, but a few told a different story. One explorer, a man named Greg Holt from Canada, posted grainy footage online in 2022. It showed a faint orange glow seeping from cracks in the ground near the old mine entrances. In the background, a low, pulsing sound could be heard, rhythmic, almost mechanical, echoing beneath the wind. Greg claimed he and his partner blacked out within minutes of approaching the glow. When they woke, hours later, their cameras were dead, and their watches had all stopped at the same time. 3:17 a.m. The video went viral, drawing millions of views and sparking global debate. Was it proof of a natural phenomenon? Evidence of a government cover-up? Or something far stranger? A machine still running, buried deep beneath the earth, its purpose long forgotten? Soon after, Greg disappeared. His social media accounts were wiped, his video taken down. Only roiplodes remained, shared by those who had saved it before it vanished. To this day, no official explanation exists. The Kazakh government insists Kalachi's mystery was caused by toxic gas pockets from the abandoned mines, a theory many scientists still challenge. Meanwhile, the village continues to crumble, swallowed by weeds and time, its few remaining residents refusing to speak with outsiders. But some say the hum is still there. On windless nights, when the plains fall silent, you can feel it. A faint vibration rising through your feet, as if something below is alive, waiting. And if Kalachi was just the beginning, where else could it happen next? By 2023, Kalachi had all but vanished from international headlines, but whispers of the village refused to die. Independent researchers, many former geologists and engineers, formed private expeditions to study the area. Most were turned away by authorities, their permits revoked at the last minute. A few managed to slip through, but nearly all abandoned their research after brief, unsettling encounters they refused to fully explain. One team, led by a British geophysicist named Oliver Grant, released partial findings before vanishing from public view. In his final report, Grant described detecting a perfectly rhythmic seismic pulse beneath Kalachi. Not an earthquake, not natural, like a heartbeat, slow and deliberate, deep below the crust. The signal repeated every 6 hours, down to the millisecond. Grant's final words in the report were chilling. This is not geology. Something is moving down there. Within days, his team's website was taken offline. Their social media profiles were deleted. When journalists tried to contact Grant, they found his flat in London empty, with no record of him ever leaving the UK. Those who still monitor Kalachi claim the phenomenon has grown quieter, almost dormant. But perhaps that's what is most terrifying, because if whatever lies beneath is no longer active, then what exactly is it waiting for? Local legends, once dismissed as superstition, have begun resurfacing. The elders of nearby villages tell stories of the Sleeper, an ancient force beneath the steppe that was fed during the Soviet era by experiments no one was meant to know about. Some say the uranium mines were just a cover, a way to build deeper, secret facilities for testing weapons, energy, or something else. Declassified documents from the 1990s hint at Project MIR-12, a Soviet research program involving subterranean resonance, experiments designed to harness vibrations deep within the earth for undisclosed purposes. The documents never mention Kalachi by name, but coordinates found in the margins matched the village exactly. Was the sleep epidemic a side effect of something far more complex, or worse? Was it a warning from whatever these experiments disturbed? Tourists who risk sneaking into Kalachi today report strange sensations: dizziness, sudden fatigue, disorientation. Some claim their electronics malfunction, batteries draining instantly, compasses spinning in circles. Whatever the cause, the village remains sealed by official decree. But no one, not scientists, not journalists, not governments, has given a definitive answer to the simplest question of all. Why does Kalachi still sleep? If this story intrigued you, give this video a like. Subscribe to Frontier Realms. More real mysteries every day. A new secret is waiting for you tomorrow. Turn on the bell icon. Frontier Realms, where curiosity lives.